Now here's the easiest way to become wealthy overall. Remember, we're talking about philosophy. I'm going to get to some very specific technical stuff, some actual strategies and tactics and step-by-step exercises we're going to do here in a little bit. But again, we're in the philosophy right now. When it comes to becoming wealthy, it's this. The easiest way to become wealthy is to give far more than you receive. This is called the wealth paradox. All right? The easiest way to become wealthy is to give more than you receive. It's paradoxical because it seems on the surface of it that if you give, then you have less to get, right? If I'm giving everything away, how can I get wealthy? All right? But the easiest way to become wealthy is to give far more than you receive. Now this works with two principles. First principle, we deal with intangibles. We don't deal with just tangibles. So with tangibles, if I give you an apple, that's one less apple that I can get, right? Okay? But the intangibleness is maybe the ingenuity of me to be able to grow trees that can produce apples. And then maybe I can charge you for those apples. Now I'm starting to make money. Okay, the second principle here is principle number one is the intangibleness. Principle number two is money is not a zero-sum property. And we'll talk more about this. But here's the problem, the biggest problem that people have either consciously or unconsciously when it comes to money. Okay, I was reading Reddit. So Reddit is one of my favorite places to go on the internet. And here's a very popular comment on Reddit one day. It was on some sort of thread about CEOs that are overcompensated. Okay, so this person has 113 people who have given him an upvote. And here's what he says, okay? They're talking about a CEO who makes $15 million a year. All right? He goes, even if he or she is working 12 hours a day, 365 days a year, $15 million amounts to $3,500 an hour. I make $15 an hour, and I work decently hard. I doubt anyone is working 230 times as hard as I am. Perhaps 10 to 20 times as hard, but not 230 times. And then I love this little stab at the end. It's just pure greed. Okay? So this is a popular sentiment among the masses, the public, that, hey, I make X number of dollars an hour. This person who makes $15 million a year can't work 230 times or 500 times as hard as I do. Therefore, they're getting something they shouldn't be getting. It's unfair. Okay? I would guess that out of everybody here on this call, live or listening, there's probably 3% of you who believe that. Maybe not consciously, but unconsciously, in the back of your mind, you might agree with that on some level, okay? On some level, you might agree with that, okay? It might not be as obvious. It might be a little bit indirectly, but let me ask you this question, okay? Is it fair? Is it fair that this happens? That somebody can work a lot less hard and make a lot more money. Is that fair? It's an excellent question. Okay? The answer is it's not fair. Okay? It's not fair. And that's wonderful. It's wonderful that that's not fair. If it was fair, we would all have the same thing. And I don't know about you, but I call that hell. If every single one of us had the exact same thing, and there was no opportunity to grow, and there was no opportunity to change, thank God it's not fair. Okay? So this isn't a matter of being fair. Okay? A lot of people say this ain't fair. Well, good point. It's not fair. I'm glad it's not fair. It shouldn't be fair. All right? Shouldn't be fair. All right? What this is the way it is. This is just how it is. Okay? And you can either get mad at it or you can understand it. And you can start asking questions. Like, how is it possible that somebody can make $3,500 an hour? Okay? One of the ways they can do that is by giving far more than they receive. So do you suppose the CEO of a company, a major Fortune 500 company who's compensated $15 million a year, is giving more than a person who makes $15 an hour? Okay? I would say they are on some level. They're probably giving more. Okay? I'll tell you one way they're giving more, and every business owner with a lot of employees can agree, is your brain is never off the clock. Okay? It's not. You think I'm not thinking about business in some form or another on a Sunday night when I'm sitting down watching television? I can't not think about it. Okay? But when I was making $10 an hour working for the city of Muscatine, going around in those little trucks sucking up the leaves during the fall and all that fun stuff, do you think I was thinking about that on a Sunday night? No. Okay? So I guarantee you the CEO, they don't work 12 hours a day. Okay? They work 24 hours a day. You don't turn that off. They give more. Okay? So part of it is, yeah, they give a lot more. The second part of it is, do they have more responsibility? Absolutely, they have more responsibility. So it seems that having more responsibility, meaning that therefore you can give more responsibility, that you should probably be more compensated more, okay? So some of it's the value, you know, some of it is the value they provide, although it could very easily be argued with some of these CEOs, the way they run the company, $15 an hour employee probably could have provided more value. Okay, so it's not all about the value, though. In some instances, it's just sheer luck. Okay? Is it fair that I can go and buy a lottery ticket and win the big Powerball and make $320 million? Okay, that's not fair either, but who cares? We call that luck. There's a little bit of luck involved, but the whole point of it is I want to position myself so that way I can give the most value. I can have the most chance to become lucky, okay? And regardless, if I have an abundance of skills to provide to the marketplace, I'm going to be at a much better position to make money. All right? Finally, if I understand this, I will be more congruent with my actions, correct? Because remember what we said, it's not just what you know, it's how you feel about what you know. If you felt like this poor fool who's making $15 an hour and is all pissed off that somebody's making 230 times that without working 230 times hard, do you think that's going to make it a lot harder for this person to make money? It's going to be almost impossible with that kind of a mindset. So you got to sit down with yourself. And this is what really was a big breakthrough for me on the how I feel part, where I felt a lot more congruent with making a whole bunch of money and making it as fast as possible. All right? I sat down and said, here are all the hard issues that I have with money and wealth. And I'm going to hammer through each one by one, until I deal with these issues. Have you ever sat down and had that conversation with yourself? If not, you should. That thing will be so valuable to you. There's so many hard questions. I'm going to ask a couple of them on this call. And then I'm going to have you ask me a couple hard ones too. All right? Now think about it this way. Let's look at it another way. This is the wonderful world of capitalism at work. If I spend 50 hours developing a system, and I charge $19.95 for that system, and this system, you give me $20 for it. But this system saves you 10 hours of figuring it out yourself. And that's the tangible. Okay? It also saves you the stress and the headache and uncertainty of figuring it out yourself. That's the intangible. Guess what happens? You win because I just saved you 10 hours of time. So even if you're making $15 an hour like the last person was, I just saved you $150. Would you pay me $20 to save you $150? I hope you would. Okay? Now I win. I win because I only have to do this once, but I can sell this to many, right? So I can win because if I sell 1,000 copies of this and I've only spent 50 hours doing it, all of a sudden I'm making what that CEO's making an hour almost, right? So it doesn't matter to you and it doesn't matter to me. This is wealth in internet marketing. But notice how I gave more, right? If I just took that 50 hours and kept it to myself, I'm going to be less wealthy. But by giving and giving more than I ask in return, that's how we become wealthy, all right? Now, this beauty is I can sell that system to 1 million people, and I can make that CEO style wages. I get rich. I deliver value to my customers that exceeds the money they exchange for that value, but I could not do this if I didn't give more than I received. This is the beauty of wealth. This is why everybody should be wealthy.